Hello there. Welcome to another episode of the Zimbabwe Bright Futures Syndicate podcast series in partnership with Elevation Zimbabwe and Rotract at Africa University. Today, we're joined by another one of our students who will be telling us their experiences and telling us a little bit more about their story. So let's get right into it. Over to you. Please tell us your name, what subject you're studying, and what year you're in.
Blessing. Thank you for having me over. My name is Silethubuhle, Moyo, but you can call me Letty, and I am studying international relations. I am in my first year, second semester.
Hi, Letty. We're so excited to have you here, and I can't wait for the conversation as it unfolds. So, when you were doing your A levels, did you know what you wanted to study at university?
I would say yes, but I was a bit confused. I wanted to do law. I was good in debate. I did debating in high school. I did public speaking. So I felt since I was an arts student, I could just resort to law. But then on the other side, I was getting, you know, how you get like comments from your community on how law is not the best degree to do, how it's flooded. So at the same time, I thought I could probably branch to nursing or maybe some sort of engineering because I also had some science background from my O level. So it was a whole ball of confusion.
Oh, wow. It sounded like you had a lot going for you. That's great, though. I mean, it's always good to start big and then, just narrow it down to what you eventually want to do. So, when you were looking at the possible options that you felt like you would be interested in, where did you go to find information about what courses were offered and by which universities?
With you, I didn't really look for anything. Probably some website or anything to just check out courses that universities provide. I was lucky that our school had a guidance and counseling session which was offered once before your exams, where universities will come over and then they will present the courses that they have, their benefits, and the duration of study. So that's how I got to know of the course that I wanted to do officially.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes when you have all the information in one place, it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so I have a difficult question for you now. If you could tell your younger self something that's either good or bad that you wish you knew earlier about going to university, what would it be?
Okay, I think I would remind my younger self to be calm and that everything is normal, everything is okay. The thing is, when we leave high school, we have this picture about university. We believe that university is this perfect place with this perfect people, and you're supposed to have certain standards to match up to a perfect group, I guess. So at the end of the day, you discover that when people go to university for the first time, we end up going against our beliefs, our priorities, to fit in to some perfect group. So at the end of the day, you discover later that you have gone against what you believe in to fit into something that was not worth it. So that's why I would remind myself to be normal, because everything is just normal. It's just a normal life. The difference is we no longer have school uniforms anymore.
Yes, really great advice. I love that. So obviously the point of this, podcast series is to build a story and to kind of paint a picture of, real life people who have been in this position to advise other real life people who have been in this decision. So looking at the time when you had that exhibition at school, and you now obviously were looking at the courses that you want to do, and you kind of had a bit of a better idea as well about what you were aiming for. Did your family or your friends influence any part of your decision on what to study? So this could have been whether you approached them for advice or if they just gave you advice and information without you asking for it. Did any of that come into play when you were making your final decision?
Okay, let me start by clearing this out. Sorry, Blessing, I'm gonna drift a little bit away from your question, but it's still aligned to it. Influence comes in two ways. It can be positive influence, it can be negative. And it is very, very, very normal for your family to have a negative influence towards your education. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that your family could be against you studying, but your family could be against you studying what you want. That's where the negativity comes. You can find yourself in a situation where you want to do something, and your family wants you to do the other thing. So at the end of the day, most people I have noticed end up falling, I guess, for what their family or whoever pays for their fees wants them to do. And then at the end of the day, you discover that in the next 5 years, you're stuck with the degree that you don't want, you're stuck with the job that you don't even like, you're having a terrible time trying to focus on whatever you did. And there's no time, I guess, to go back and do what you've always wanted to do. So, what I could say is make sure that you try by all means to convince your family to agree to whatever course or program you want to do, as long as it's good and it has very good benefits as well. So I had the same situation. Despite doing arts, my family still saw me as a doctor, and I wanted law. So that's where the negative influence came in, because you'll come home all the time and they'll be like, oh, what are you gonna do with a law degree? Oh, you'll be at home sitting with your law degree. Why don't you try medicine? Why don't you try sciences after doing your arts? And I knew that I didn't like sciences that much. I preferred arts. I was okay with my history. I was happy with my literature. So yes, my family did have an influence, but it was negative. It was for, I guess, what they, how it is in the African setup. Your family already has a view of what they want you to be, but then I came out the total opposite of what they wanted. So yeah, I guess it's along those lines. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. And I can totally resonate with you. I mean, right now, if you asked my mom what I do, she still wouldn't be able to tell you. But all she cares about is the fact that I've got a job and, I go to work. So I can definitely resonate with you there, where sometimes the influence comes from people who are looking at the bigger picture, but not necessarily looking at how you're going to get to that bigger picture. Okay, that's been really interesting. Thank you so much. So in terms of your course content, can you explain it as you know it now versus what you thought it was about before you started?
Okay. So I mentioned earlier on that I am doing international relations. I'm sure most of you guys right now are just they're like international what, fancy. I also had the same thought when I learned about my course. I thought it was gonna put me on some huge international structure, working on unifying countries and making the world a better place to be. And I wasn't really far from the real thing, because IR focuses on the global society. We focus on things that affect nations globally, be it politically, socially, or economically, as long as it's something to do with a nation. You understand? So we also focus on organizations that have an impact on the global community as well. And at the end of the day, trying to make sure that whatever happens is a balance in the globe, to make the world a better place to be. So yeah, I usually call our students Superman and women, because yeah, we are low key saving the world.
I love that analogy, and we are so grateful to you guys for low key saving the world. Gosh, now I feel so clueless. Okay, so within your course, have you had the opportunity to pick any option modules, or is everything kind of decided for you before you start?
Yes, yes. I did get a chance to pick a module. I think that was one of my favorite parts. Enrolling to university. We have a language section. We have English. We have French. We have Portuguese. So you have to like pick one of those modules to do for your whole first year. So I got a chance to pick a language as well, and obviously I picked French. You know how we all think it's very exciting and romantic. So yes, yes, I did get a chance to pick a language, and it was a very great experience.
Oh, that is the sweetest. I know what you mean. French is probably one of the most romantic languages on earth. So I really do hope you get to use it after university and it just doesn't end with you studying it there. So obviously, as you know, we're here to kind of like motivate, mentor, guide, and just give general information to people as well. So I'm having so much fun with this conversation. You're so informative. I love everything that you've been saying so far. I kind of want to take a step back from the course content now and now look at more of the wider area of university application processes. So when you were looking at possible courses to study, did you consider what facilities are available at the university? So we're looking at things like the library, sports facilities, quality of accommodation, how far away the university is from, your permanent home address, and also, in light of the whole lockdown situation as well, how have you found kind of studying online? Have the resources been good? So I just want to get a feel of kind of like, the more generalized aspect of the AU experience, I suppose.
I did look into the school facilities. I checked out the accommodation first because I wanted a very comfortable place where I could do my schoolwork and study without any disturbances. And I was very happy with the campus accommodation in Africa University. Very nice and beautiful space, 3 people occupancy. You have two roommates from different countries, diversity, learning new cultures. You have a very beautiful study area, very good Wi-Fi connection. So yes, it was perfect for what I had expected. I also looked into sports. I'm not a sports person, but I love watching, and I was impressed with their tennis courts, basketball courts, their sports ground. The pool is amazing. And yes, the library as well. I think I loved the library more. I feel it's the art of the university, up to date facilities. It's marvelous. And concerning distance, I wanted a place which was very far away from home. Avoiding family visits. You know how it is when you're close to home. Your parents or your guardians always want to pop in and see how it's going. So I wanted a place where I can get to grow on my own. And AU was perfect as well because it's like 9 hours away from home. I live in Blawayo, so it's like 9 hours away, and I know no one would want to drive 9 hours up to Mdari. And I was okay with the distance. I was okay with the location of the school. It's just far away from the city a little bit. It's in a beautiful open space area, valley. You have like mountains all around. So I was really, really impressed with the whole facilities and view. And yeah, I had to go for it.
Oh my goodness, the way you describe it, like, it makes me want to go to Africa University. Honestly, like that sounds so idyllic. And yeah, it's good that you're getting that far away from home experience as well, setting you up for life after university, which is fantastic. I guess, you want to make sure you get the most out of your experience there. Okay, so to round it all up, from start to finish, describe the university application process in your experience. And I want you to focus on any key memories or feelings that you had when you were going through that process.
Okay, so I did an online application. I had to download my application form um, from the Africa University website, and I filled in my credentials, which is the first page, and then updated my educational status, where you put up your grades for your O and A level, results, and any other educational certificate which you feel might be helpful in getting you a place at Africa University. And there was a religious part as well, where you have to update your religious status. But it's basically for students who are going to be applying for theology. I also Okay, there was also a part where you have to select 3 courses. The first one being the main course that you're applying for, then the last two optional courses, just in case the first one doesn't work out. And there's a part as well where you write an essay on why you believe you deserve a place at Africa University. So after that, I emailed my application together with a copy of my certified or an A-level result and my ID, and yes, a proof of payment. You have to pay an application fee as well to secure yourself as a candidate and submit it together to one of the school emails, which is usually written down there under your application form, right under the application form. So yes, the most important or exciting part, I guess, when I was applying was choosing the two optional courses. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew I was gonna be picked for international relations, but I was just like, what am I supposed to pick just in case things go hayway? So I guess that was the most interesting part when I was applying.
Yes, you applied, you got accepted, and here we are today. So I'm really happy to be talking to you, knowing that it all worked out, which is a really good thing to be able to say. um, so obviously, like we've spoken about, your experiences in the past and kind of your journey of where you went through and what kind of steps you took in order for you to get to, the here and the now. And I guess maybe these next couple of questions might be more difficult because these are now looking at kind of like the current and the future outlook that you've got. So, if you could tell me the most valuable lesson that you've learned so far from being at university, either about academics or life in general, what would that be?
I have learned a lot in this short period of time at university. First of all, let me say that I believe that the moment you get to university, um, your academics and your life link so much that there's a very thin line in between them. What happens to the other affects the other part as well to a greater extent. So I learned to be way more patient than I was before. Considering that at university you get to work with different people from different backgrounds, with different cultures, different norms, in order to get a good mark or a good grade at the end of the day. So it doesn't really need your intelligence, but rather humanity as well. That's when patience comes in, because sometimes you find yourself with people who probably have no clue of what's going on or what's happening. So it's a situation of you being humble and bring yourself down to teaching them, and so that at the end of the day, you guys are all at the same level and working towards the same goal. So that's where patience came in. And I also learned to respect my priorities. As I said on one of the questions, that the problem is when a lot of people get to university, they forget their priorities and try and adjust to a certain lifestyle that they probably are uncomfortable with just to fit into a certain group which they regard perfect. So I learned to respect my priorities and what I believe in, because I feel that it's basically what brought you to that state or to that stage at the first place. Your priorities got you from A level, got you good grades at A level, and got you at university. Why do you have to drop them now? So it's a situation of getting friends who believe in the same things that you believe in, instead of abandoning what your beliefs to get a certain number of people who don't even care about you to fit in your life. So yes, I did learn to respect my priorities as well. And I also learned how to make friends. Very funny. Like all this time we believe or we feel that we are able to make friends because we've been making friends since probably kindergarten, primary and stuff. But the thing is, I feel when you get to university, you are making real life friends, and there's a high chance that you might ruin your life probably by choosing the wrong group of friends as well. So yes, I learned how to make friends with the help of respecting my priorities.
I love the way that you put that, and I like that you are trying to incorporate those people into your future and really investing a lot into building strong connections and pure connections as well, which is so important. Do you know what you want to do after university? And if you don't, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Okay, so yes, I do know what I want to do after university. First of all, let me say that I believe that being at university shouldn't limit you to only studying your degree and leaving to get employed, but I feel like it has to be a space for one to cultivate themselves, network, try and probably find out opportunities on how they can start off whatever they'll want to do after they graduate. So I'm already doing that as well. I want to be part of the United Nations after my graduation, after university. So I just yes, I want to be a diplomat. Well, but I'll have to study further um, to become one. That's why my 5 year goal is obtaining a master's in international relations and probably a master's in person governance, and then a doctorate later on if God allows. And in the meantime, I am working with a few organizations like Rotaract, and also I'm currently the 2021 delegate for for Asia, Africa, Model United Nations. I'm the Zimbabwean delegate under the UNICEF Council. So yes, I'm working towards my 5 year goal. I'll want to probably after graduation work under one of UN's wings, probably UNICEF if everything goes well, and be part of the great council holders in UNICEF.
That sounds absolutely amazing, and I'm confident that nothing is out of your reach. You sound so determined to do it, and you sound more than capable. So, I want to just wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and I can't wait to hear about your continued success. Letty, thank you so much for giving us your time today. It's been a wonderful experience speaking with you. And hopefully, this isn't the last we hear from you. Like you said, we'll be following you, cheering you on every step of the way. But for now, thank you very, very much. And I do hope the rest of your day goes well. Thanks, Letty.
Thank you very much, Blessing. Thank you for having me, and I hope that this information will help somebody make the right decisions before they start off with the university. And all the best to all the A level candidates. I wish you guys all the best. Thank you so much.